Hello everyone. Well, Eurovision 2024 is now over, and I think a lot of people are happy for it to be over because this year had a lot of problems surrounding it. It wasn't the most smooth of contests, but yeah, it happened. So I came back from Malmo on Friday, which was the day when a lot of the drama all happened. And then at one point I was reading the news and people were saying that they didn't even know if the contest would go ahead. So yeah, it all just turned to chaos on Friday, the day before the final. Um, but you will hear more videos from me about my time in Malmö and Copenhagen. I made a vlog when I was there. I'll be uploading that very soon. And then after that, I'll do a video talking about my experience there and my highlights of the week. I did have a really good time. I'll talk more about that in another video. But this video, I would like to talk about, well, a review of the results of the grand final. I've been doing this now for a few years, going through the final scoreboard, talking about the countries, how well they did, any surprises, and there were quite a lot of surprises. So that's what I'll be talking about now. Before that, though, I would like to say about all the drama that happened before the final. I'd like to say that my thoughts are still with Joost Klein from the Netherlands and the Dutch people. When I was watching the final, Joost was on my mind, and it's really sad, not just because it was my favourite of the year and it got disqualified, not just that, but it's just the whole situation, the whole unfairness of it all. Yeah, so I do feel really sorry for the Dutch fans. I'm not sure what's going to happen next year, but yeah, justice for Joost Klein. And also, a lot of the other artists have come out to say, or starting to come out to say about their experience and about how some of them were actually very close to withdrawing the day before. So yeah, a bit of a messy situation this year. But yeah, I do really feel for the Netherlands and Joost Klein. So yeah, my support is still with you. So let's talk about the final results. Well, congratulations, Nemo from Switzerland. Wow. I mean, right from the start, you can see from my reaction video the very first time I heard the code, I said right then, it gave me a winner vibe. Like, it does give winner vibes as soon as you hear it. It really takes you by surprise. It's very refreshing, very new, and just unexpected. But yeah, it's just really cool. A really cool, interesting winner. And I'm happy for Nemo. I think Nemo could have a good career after this and, keep going. But yeah, deserved winner. It was one of the favourites, like I said, for the whole time. And yeah, I mean, I remember saying actually after the rehearsals that I didn't think it would win. I actually sort of turned against it a little bit when I saw the staging because I thought, oh, there's something about this that's not giving me a winner vibe anymore. I'm not sure if it will win, but it did. And I am happy that it did. Personally, I think I would have preferred Croatia. By the end of it, I was rooting for Croatia. I think a lot of people were. Only because it was just more of a crowd pleaser, more fun. And it's a similar situation to last year where you've got the jury winner and then you've got the televote winner, which is a lot more of a crowd pleaser, and it's what most people were supporting. So yeah, from the two, even though they both were some of my favourites of the year, both in my top five of the year, I think I would have personally preferred Croatia. It's a pattern with me actually where I do tend to prefer the runner-up, apart from Måneskin 2021, that my winner did win then. But it's been a lot of years now where I prefer the runner-up to the winner. Um, Not by much though. I still love the code. Like it's always been a favourite of mine. Um, but yeah, on the night I was rooting for Croatia just a little bit more. But I'm really happy for Nemo. This is a really good winner. I think we knew that Switzerland or maybe France would win the jury, but not only did they win the jury, but they won it by an absolute landslide. So many 12 points. It seemed like almost every country gave it 12 points. And it turns out they got even more 12 points than Loreen. I mean, Loreen got loads, but this got like a record breaking amount of 12. And I mean, I do find it a bit boring when one country gets all of the 12 points. It wasn't all, um, but it seemed to be most juries that gave it 12. So, yeah, I mean, that made it easier for them to win the whole thing because they were already so far ahead and they got about 200 televote points as well. So, yeah. So, let's talk about some of the other countries, starting from the bottom of the scoreboard. I don't like to look at the bottom of the scoreboard because last place is Norway. I mean, in what world are you going to have Olverham, Gorta last? Like, why? I mean, I remember saying before about how if Norway didn't get top 10, at least that would be a crime. So, yeah, a few crimes have been committed this year. Yeah, that is awful. Norway last with a song like Olverham in Norwegian, a really cool song. I mean, to be honest, what I will say is that I did think it might not do that well in the semi-finals. I mean, they were after Israel in the semi-final, so I think a lot of people were still sort of recovering from that. So maybe it did get lost a little bit. Maybe it got a bit lost in the final as well. But still, I didn't think it would get last place overall. I know that juries usually don't like Norway, but the public didn't like it either. So, wow. Yeah, that is a shock and a real shame. Yeah, that's not good. Austria, I never thought this would do that well, to be honest. I never thought that, even though it was a bit of a fan favourite in a way. Um, but yeah, I didn't think it would do this badly either, but I didn't think it would do well, at all. Um, but yeah, to do this badly, yeah, well, something actually went wrong in this performance. The camera completely froze for like 10 seconds in the dance break. And I thought it was something wrong with the TV, the screen that we were watching it on. But it turns out, it really did stop overall. So they're probably quite angry about that. You wouldn't be happy when you find out that that happened in your performance. Um, I'm not sure if that's the only reason why it didn't do well. Um, but yeah, that's annoying. But yeah, I never thought it would do that well. Slovenia, not a surprise to be in the bottom five. It was lucky to qualify. Like nobody thought that would qualify. So the fact it's in the final, that's fine. Georgia, again, it's great that Georgia qualified. You know, the fact we had Georgia, Ireland, and Latvia in the final together is amazing. But I expected more from Georgia. I think this deserved a lot more. I thought it was great. I thought it was like the Fuego of the year. I actually thought it could get top 10, to be honest. So yeah, I think that deserved more, Georgia, to be honest. I wonder if people are getting a bit bored of girl bops. I mean, we'll always have girl bops, I imagine, they'll always be there. But are people getting a bit bored of them, maybe? Could we maybe see less of them in the future? And maybe not, but yeah, I would have liked Georgia to get more than that. Okay, let's talk about the UK. Ollie Alexander, 0 points from the televote. Oh no. I mean, my reaction video to the live results, you can see it. It's a very entertaining video. I've watched it back a few times. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch back. You can see our reaction to the 0 points and the way we screamed in terror. Like, I literally scream on camera at the nil point. Yeah, I'll remind you of that in this video now.
0 points.
So yeah, who expected that? I mean, first of all, I thought that the UK would do better than it did in the jury. It did okay in the jury. We thought that this would come top 10 in the jury. The staging was really out there, really different. I think we knew it wouldn't do that well with a televote. But I didn't expect 0 points. Like, did it really deserve 0? No, I mean, no. That's harsh and unexpected. Of all the songs to get 0, I didn't think it would be that one. So yeah, I mean, they took a risk with the staging. It obviously didn't pay off. It didn't work. I think it goes to show that maybe, it's not all about the staging. The song needs to be there as well. And Dizzy as a song was never that strong, really. It needed staging to elevate it, and the staging did elevate it, but it obviously didn't work because, it didn't do well. So yeah, they're probably thinking right now, the BBC, the UK delegation, where do we go from here? Well, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I did not expect 0 points for Ollie. I'm not saying I expected amazing things, but not for it to do that badly. I'd like to give a shout out again to Latvia. I mean, we all remember when Latvia qualified and how nobody expected it. It was such a shock, but in a positive way, in a really good way. I'm really happy for Latvia. They got through to the final. And yeah, I don't think anyone expected that at all. It's one of those moments where you always remember where you were when Latvia qualified. And they've done quite well, actually. They got 28 points from the televote, which is good for Latvia. I mean, the fact that we didn't even think they would make it at all, and they've done fairly well. So I'm really happy for Dongs and Latvia in general. Yeah, it's a really positive thing to move forward with for them. Another country that are probably feeling very proud of themselves right now is Germany. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Germany got 12th place. They are on the left-hand side of the board, no longer in the bottom 5 like they have been for the past however many years. I mean, that's a huge glow up for Germany. And I think with this song, I quite liked it actually. When I saw it live in the semi-final, I thought, you know what, I really liked that. And when I watched it back as well, I like it. It's just improved so much. I don't know if it's the staging or it's because you realise how good his voice is. But yeah, there's been a huge improvement with this. And I think we kind of had an idea that this could do well with the jury. It's the type of thing that the jury like, and they have liked it. They've liked it a lot, actually. Maybe we thought that this would be the country that gets 0 points from the public, but obviously not. That was the UK. So not only have they improved from the bottom 5 placement they normally get, but they've ended up 12th place, which is more than I think, better than I think anyone would have thought they would do. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised at that. And what does this mean for Germany? Does it give them a bit of a boost now? Does it make them, will it make them love the contest again and put more effort into it? Or, and this is something that people have suggested, because they've done well with a male ballad, does that mean that they'll just continue with male ballads? Because now that they've seen how well they've done with that, they think, oh, well, that must be what people want from us then. So maybe we shouldn't expect any risk-taking from Germany, because they went with something safe and it actually worked out quite well. So yeah, that's really interesting. But yeah, well done Germany, I guess. Greece came 11th, which is actually better than I expected. I was a little bit worried about this. I mean, I've always loved the song. It was always in my top 10, but the staging, I thought they could have done a little bit more with it. The staging seemed not the best, but they still did really well. You know, they got, was it 85 televote points, ended up almost in the top 10. I thought maybe Georgia would end up doing better than Greece, but no, people still loved it, so that's good. So let's talk a bit about the top 10. So we've got Portugal 10th place, which, again, a bit unexpected to me. Not in a bad way, you know, good for them. Well done, Portugal. Yet again, Portugal always tend to give jury appealing songs and not necessarily televote appealing songs. They always do better with the jury than the televote. They actually got 12 points from the UK jury, which was a bit random and unexpected. And they did get 12 points from 1 or 2 other countries as well, I think. But yeah, good for them. I mean, maybe it just shows that this year was very loud. Lots of really loud, fun, crazy songs, and having a ballad like that, and Latvia and Germany as well, is sometimes a good thing, because it's what people want. They want some quiet amongst all the chaos. So yeah, maybe, you know, stuff like Portugal's song does stand out quite a bit. Sweden, absolutely no surprise at all. Nobody should be shocked at that, just as we expected. Doing well with the jury, not so well with the televote, but not that bad actually. 49 points, that's perfectly fine. So this is exactly as we expected. You know, they are still in the top 10. Good with the jury, okay with televote, didn't flop completely. No surprise at all. So yeah, that's fine. Armenia, again did better than I expected, actually. I mean, it went down great with the crowd. You know, the crowd loved it. So much fun, really colourful, vibrant. Um, what I'm surprised about with this is how well it did with the jury, because I thought it was much more of a televote friendly song, and I thought the jury wouldn't really like it much at all. But I saw the points coming in. I thought, oh, Armenia are getting a few points here actually, and Olive ended up in the top 10 overall. So yeah, good for them. Maybe it's a little bit like a Moldova 2022 kind of scenario. We've got that really fun song that just ends up doing really well. Yeah, a bit better than I expected, but I'm happy for them. Well done, Armenia. That's a lot of fun. Now, Italy, so they've got 7th place. This is interesting. There were a lot of question marks around this because on one hand, this has always been seen as a potential winner. It was one of the favourites to win. People thought this would be like the compromise winner, where it does enough in both televote and jury to win overall. And it's come 7th, which is still good. Italy are normally in the top 5. So maybe this hasn't done quite as well as people expected. As far as I remember, it didn't get any 12 points from any jury. I don't think it got any 12s at all. And it got about just over 100 from the televote. So I think people did expect a bit more from this. I remember saying actually a while ago, I could either imagine it winning or being like in like the top 3, or being in the lower half of the top 10 and coming like 7th. And I think I actually did mention at one point 7th place, like that did actually come to mind, and it has come 7th. So yeah, it's still not bad at all. You know, Italy is still in the usual top 10 placement, you know, deservedly so, well deserved. I do think people expected a little bit more for this, though, because it was one of the potential winners, but it's still done well. Okay, now, Ireland. I mean, we talk about improvements, glow-ups from countries. This is the biggest glow-up that we've ever seen. Like, we could talk for ages about Ireland this year. This is like the perfect rags to riches story. A country hasn't even qualified for more than 5 years, to a country that has suddenly just improved so much in 1 year. And people really got behind this over the past few weeks. Irish fans are so proud of this, and rightly so. And this is coming from a country that just hasn't even been in the final for ages, coming up with some really bland songs. And now they took a risk, and with this, it did pay off very well. When we saw the staging for Bambi Thug, I think it grew on a lot of people, including me. And I remember putting this in my top 10, moving it up into my top 10. People got on board a lot more with this recently. Now, again, something that has really surprised me, one of the biggest surprises of the whole final result, I think, is how well this did with the jury. Because I thought, okay, so Ireland have qualified, they got to the final, good for them, brilliant. But I thought, okay, it's in the final, but it might not do that well in the final. And now look at this, top 10 for Ireland. Amazing. But yeah, what has shocked me the most is how well it did with the jury. I thought, this is not a jury song at all. They're going to hate this. Like, yeah, it could do well with the televote, but not the jury. And then I'm watching the jury results and seeing all these points for Ireland coming in, 8 points, 10 points, they got 12 points from Australia. And I remember at one point I turned to my friend sat next to me and I said, are Ireland going to win? Are Ireland about to win? Because if they're doing this well with the jury, they're going to do well with the televote. So I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, is it Dublin 2025? Like, really? So yeah, that has really surprised me, pleasantly surprised me, with how much the jury really liked this. I can't imagine what the Irish fans were thinking at that point when they saw how well they were doing to start off with. They probably thought they could win the whole thing as well. But yeah, congratulations, Ireland, Bambi Ferg. This is your Sam Ryder moment of the year, you know, the biggest improvement you could ever imagine. Yeah, wow, that was a moment. So what a great result for Ireland. Of all countries, the best result since, well, I was going to say Jedward, but actually I think they've done even better than Jedward. So it's their best result in literally more than 20 years. I can't even like remember the best result in this modern era. Like, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, well done, Ireland. So now we've got the top 5. So we've got the 5th place. And it's funny how last year we didn't like the jury. We hated the jury. We wanted them gone. You know, it was all about Finland were robbed. We didn't want the jury anymore. But then this year, we appreciated the jury because, well, yeah, I don't really need to say why, because it stopped Israel from winning, which is what we want. You know, that's a good thing. We didn't want that. So we're thankful for the jury this year. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I wish the Netherlands were performing in the final and then they could have got 5th place instead. Yeah. France came 4th, and I actually got a bit of a winner vibe from this. You know, this performance did give me a bit of a winner feel. But they've done very well, you know, very respectable 4th place, because we knew that this was something that would appeal to the juries. Obviously, they liked it, but they loved Switzerland even more. And they did quite well with the public as well. So yeah, 4th place overall. Good job for France. And it's an improvement on their results over the past 2 years or so. So yeah, they're back on form, and maybe it just goes to show that when they sing such a French sounding ballad, they do well. So Ukraine came 3rd. What an amazing result for Ukraine. What an amazing televote result. Another country that got over 300 televote points this year, which doesn't normally happen. It's normally only like one country that does that, like Finland last year. So yeah, lots of big, well, a few big televote scores, and Ukraine was one of them. It didn't matter, they performed 2nd in the running order. Performing 2nd is not a good place to be in, but it didn't matter for Ukraine. You know, people still loved it, and they still did very, very well, and good for them. I've always loved this song. It's always been one of my favourites, and yeah, I've always loved Sherry and Aliona together, so I'm really happy for them. And then of course you've got Croatia. So happy for Croatia. You know, what a great result for them, their best ever, really. This will stay in my mind as one of the highlights of the year in terms of performance and audience interaction. You know, such a powerful performance. It actually made me think a little bit of Måneskin, with the rock, with the pyro at the end, even the look of the costumes. It just gave me a bit of a Måneskin City of Bwangi feel, which I love, which is so much fun. And the reception that gets from the crowd, yeah, that gave me goosebumps. It really did. And the code gives you goosebumps as well. So, yeah, congratulations to both Baby Lasagna and Nemo. So what would I change about the results? Well, obviously I would have the Netherlands in the final, first of all. I would have given more to Ollie Alexander, or not 0 points anyway. I would like Georgia to be higher on the scoreboard. But yeah, other than that, some good results there, some surprising ones, but not always in a bad way, usually surprising in a good way. General thoughts about the show. I thought the actual staging itself was very impressive. They did a really good job with the whole show in general. I thought the hosting was really good, you know, not too cheesy. It was funny. There were actually some genuinely funny moments from them, but not in a cheesy way. That was quite good. I thought the interval acts in all 3 shows, actually, maybe even more so the semi-finals and the final, were really good. I didn't like the postcards this year. I thought they were a bit lazy, didn't really show much. So the postcards were not the best, but the production of the whole show, you can see a lot of work went into that from Sweden. Yeah, it was a really professional, high quality show. And in terms of the music this year, it was actually maybe the best we've ever seen in terms of quality of songs. Like, there were hardly any bad songs at all this year. Probably the strongest lineup maybe we've ever had. So it's a shame that this year was tainted by that one thing, because overall this year was very, very strong, maybe more than ever before. So I think I should leave it there. But yeah, great show overall. And you will be hearing more from me about my time at Eurovision. This video was just about the actual results. But yeah, stay tuned for my vlog on my time in Malmö and Copenhagen and my highlights of the trip, so we can talk more about the contest this year. But for now, let me know what you think of some of these results. Which are you most shocked at? Which are you most disappointed with? Norway coming last is definitely one of the disappointments. And how happy are you with the winner? Is Switzerland your personal favourite? Would you rather another winner? Let me know any thoughts you have. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for following all of my videos, because when I was in Malmö, I did upload some performances from the arena, which have got quite a lot of views. So I think people were quite interested in that. But there'll be more to come in my vlog. I watched the final in Liverpool, Euro Club, and it was a really good atmosphere there. It was really fun. So yeah, I'm really tired now after coming back from Sweden and then going to Liverpool to watch the final. But yeah, I've got a lot of footage to get together and make into a vlog. So that will be coming very soon. So thank you for following my videos, and there's more to come. Until then, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.